much, right? Some personal, some, I definitely invite all of y'all to, into my life, into my world. And like I was speaking to a friend of mine recently, and she was like, what was the penitentiary like? Right. And when I first got there, my first thought was like it was like a giant tomb, right? Because you had all these, like in the penitentiary, even the paint is like a really dull gray. It's like I read before, through doing certain studies that they said that it's to keep you calm, right? Science said that it's to keep you calm. This color paint, this dull shade of gray and stuff like that. That's why in the penitentiary it's a lot of gray because it's also it's confined and combined with a lot of misery. So I was explaining this to her, and I said it was bittersweet. And so she said, "Well, why you say that?" I said it was bittersweet because, as I mentioned in the past on YouTube, I got to see some of my childhood heroes from around the neighborhoods, right? But it was bitter because it was like, man, this is life from now on, right? Because before I started studying the law and things of that nature, I was, I was just doing my bit. I was, being a young nigga.
So jump in there, OG. So when you got your time and the judge gave you the time that he gave you, a life, double life, matter of fact, plus 141 years. How did you feel going into your first time? I mean, your first entrance into the penitentiary.
Well, I had always heard, and this was actually my second incarceration. Um, so I was kind of used to the system, as an adult, and it was like it was like, okay, you gotta put your game face on, so to speak, right? You like, all right, it's a whole bunch of other motherfuckers in here just like me, and I know sooner or later that bowl of food is gonna get smaller and smaller, and so it becomes a survival of the fittest, excuse me, sort of thing, and that's how you have to approach it when you first come in. Like prisons, they're not the same anymore. They're built a whole lot more safe. Like penitentiaries was like it was a free for all. Prisons now where you might like, all right, for example, down in Jessup, in JCI, Jessup Correctional Institution, they got different buildings, and in each building is 4 tiers. Now, the police can make it where we can be on different tiers, but in the same building and never see each other. In the penitentiary, that was impossible because
So in penitentiary, from the old penitentiary downtown.
yes, it's 954 Forest Street, right? The penitentiaries was much different, but it was my first time being in a penitentiary, So in my first incarceration, I did time in the Maryland House Correction, but I also did time up Hagerstown in both Roxbury and what we used to call the New Jail.
Which is penitentiary, but different from the penitentiary downtown.
Right. And so they was more for like medium security. Like there's some max in there, but like the penitentiary is max. It's just that simple. And when I mentioned the bowl of food, you got to remember It's other ones in there already eating. And that's why this whole brand is something that I, adopted, when the Civil War was first, talking to me about it, because it was really how I seen prison. Right. Like it was a thing, man, where I do that, okay. It was like you map it out. It was like I'm looking at the room, I'm reading the room, so to speak. And I said, okay, the phone, it looks like, what I mean, you're gonna have to, what I mean?
Hey, you made it to the end. That's awesome. And you know what? You're awesome too. But you know what would make you even more awesome? Hitting that subscribe button right now. Come on, do it. I dare you. It's like giving this channel a virtual high five. And while you're at it, why not smash that like button? It's totally free and it helps more people discover our amazing content. Oh, and sharing it, that's like being a superhero for this channel. Seriously, every share, every like, every subscribe, it's building something incredible here. We're growing this community together, and I couldn't do it without you. So let's keep this party going. Subscribe, like, share, and let's create something amazing together. You in?